I had this thing that I was struggling with, and I was wondering, like, should I move forward? Should I not move forward? I don't really know what to do. And it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, okay, give me a sign, like whether it's God or the universe or whatever you believe in, it's like, okay, just somebody give me a sign. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I think I got my sign. I think maybe. I wanted to chat for a second about waiting, because it seems like we're really, really good at waiting. I did a workshop on Thursday, and one of the questions that came up was, somebody said, I think that I'm just waiting for something. And that really hit home with me, because I feel like I'm waiting for a lot of things in my life. And I have several things that I'm like, okay, I have the answers for. It's just, I'm waiting for the right time, or, kind of like this morning, like I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for somebody to say, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's the thing. Even though I don't really share any of my problems with people, at least the things that I'm waiting for, I don't really share them. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe when it feels right. But it seems like there are all these big things, though, things that you shouldn't be putting off, things that you should be making a priority in your life. I think if there's one thing that we've learned in the past almost 2 years now, is that you never know what's going to happen. Who would have thought that we would be locked in our houses for a while? Some people still are in the world. There are some people that are still dealing with lockdowns and stuff like that. Thankfully, here in the United States, it's not like that now. I went to Target and I didn't have to wear a mask, and I was like, hey, that's super cool. The last time I went to Target, everybody was wearing masks. But I just wanted to talk about that. Like, what are we waiting for? Why are we putting these things off that we want to do? And it doesn't matter what it is. Like, maybe you hate your job. Maybe you want a different job, but you don't really have the courage to go looking for a new job. Or maybe you don't know what you want to do. Maybe you just feel like you're burned out and you're stressed out, and you need to know, like, maybe you need some support, some direction. Maybe it's like you're like me and you're single and you're like, hey, I kind of want to start dating, maybe, sort of, it's just like super scary to step out there and do that kind of stuff. I think a lot of the waiting comes from the fact that we've been hurt at some point in our lives. I mean, how many of you have been hurt, like, even before you were like 10 years old? And, when you're a kid, the hurt and the disappointment, it hits you so much harder, because it makes up such a big portion of your life. That feeling of like every single year seems to get shorter, like the older that you get, the years get shorter. I feel that a lot more now than what I used to. And I read something that said that the reason that it feels that way is because each year makes up a smaller percentage of your life, right? So if you're 10 years old, one year is 1/10 of your life. If you're 35 years old, well, 1 year is a lot smaller portion of your life, right? So of course it feels like it goes faster. It really kind of does. And I feel like the hurt is like that too. When you get hurt when you're young, it's a lot worse than when you're older, because when you're older, it's like, oh, I've been here before. I know what this feels like. And maybe you have some sort of coping mechanism to deal with it. Maybe it's a good coping mechanism. Maybe it's not. I've had a lot of really bad coping mechanisms in my lifetime, and stuff that I'm still working through and figuring out new strategies for. So I think it's just time for the waiting to stop. If you need a sign, this is your sign. This is your sign from the universe that's saying, listen, it's time to stop. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for things to get better. Stop waiting to be happier. Stop waiting for fall. and then for spring, and then for summer, and then for the new year again. It's time to start being happy. It's time to build your courage and to build your sense of self-worth and self-love. Because when it comes down to it, that's where you need to start. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever big change that you're looking for, whatever answer that you're looking for, it starts inside of you. My mom used to tell me a lot that happiness is an inside job. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, what does that mean? And she really couldn't explain it. She would just leave it there. And so I was like, okay, so like there's like in my head, it was like, okay, well, something then must be messed up inside of my head. Like my brain is broken because I don't know how to be happy. And that was like the story that I told myself. And I've told myself that story for so long. And then over the last 3 to 4 years now, I've realized that that's not true at all. And there are so many things that you can do. It's people call it the work. You know, it's like unpacking all of the stories that you've told yourself for so long, realizing where they came from, why you tell yourself those stories, and then how to replace those stories with something else that's more positive, that's better. And it's not so simple as saying, I'm broken because I'm not like everybody else, and then flipping the story and saying, no, I'm not broken. Because once you've been telling yourself I'm broken for so long, then if you just flip the story to an immediate positive and say, no, I'm not broken, I'm just great, your brain will fight against you and say, no, that's not true. You get all this back talk from your head, you know, that's like, that's not true. What are you talking about? You've believed that you're broken for so long, and you just need to like keep believing that, you know. It's like your brain will pull you back to whatever your set point is, right? Excuse me. So you need more strategies to say, to almost like trick your brain into saying no. How about instead of saying I'm fine just the way that I am, what if you say, what if I'm fine just the way that I am? Something so simple, just adding 2 words to the statement, and now your brain is like, that's a question. Like, oh, what if I am just fine the way that I am? You don't get all of the back talk. You don't get all of the negativity, but it's still the positive that you need to start breaking those bad habits. Something so simple, just adding 2 words, right? But a year ago, I didn't know that strategy. I would have never thought that it would work. I mean, I paid a counselor like $200 a week for several years. And the best advice that she ever gave me was fake it till you make it. And I was so disappointed. I was like, really? I'm paying you like, what, $800 a month to tell me to fake it till I make it? That's it? And then I hired a life coach, and it was like a whole different experience. They had all these different strategies, and they're like, no, wait a minute. I've been here. I've dealt with what you're dealing with, and I can fix it for you. Like, I can give you 100 different strategies to fix that thing that you're struggling with. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, this one doesn't work. Well, let's try this one. That one actually worked a little bit better. Is there something deeper with that? And it's like, yeah, like here's this whole other thing that you could do. There's so many things like that are, it's so amazing to be able to work with people who understand you and who feel the same way that you do, who've gone through the same things. I never even realized that opportunity was out there. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here, that I have my Instagram account, that I do my podcast every week, that I write my blog, because I got such an amazing transformation from that work that I want to help other people. I want to show you that you can have the same thing that I have. That, you know, you don't have to believe all of these negative stories that you've told yourself. You don't have to believe all the all the negativity that people say, you know, introverts are broken and they need to be fixed. You don't have to believe that just because you have these really deep, big emotions that you have to hide them all of the time. Another thing for me was that I always felt like I couldn't show people my emotions. In fact, I almost prided myself on being able to hold my face a certain way when people were saying things that made me angry or upset, especially like when I was at work, because I had this boss who was terribly narcissistic, and he loved to just push my buttons, and he loved to make me upset, and he knew when he could. He knew when he was like pushing on something that made me upset. And so it was like all of a sudden, every time he did it, I became like really aware of my face. You know, it's like trying to control my face so much that he didn't know that he was making me really, really mad, or he didn't know that I was just about to cry, because I didn't want him to know anything else, you know, other than what he already knew. So it was like this whole work of controlling my emotions. And it was because I grew up, you know, when I was growing up, I was told that, you know, it wasn't okay to express your emotions. And so now it's like a whole relearning process of, hey, it is actually okay to be mad. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And it is actually okay to be irritated and to tell people about it. So many people are like, no, just be nice. And I'm like, why? Why do I have to be nice to people who aren't nice to me? Like, why am I being forced to be polite to people who are incredibly nasty? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's a whole work for me of like relearning all of these things and doing something better, you know, figuring out like what's good for me, and how to like, what's the best way to process all of these things, because obviously what I learned before wasn't correct. And then you figure out like you don't have to be waiting for things. You can, now that you have the confidence and the self-love and the courage, it doesn't take so much to put yourself out there anymore. It doesn't take so much to ask for what you want. And you don't feel guilty for doing it. You don't feel shame. You feel like you deserve it, and it's okay. I'm learning a lot too about energy. I actually bought this book that's called, I think I have it sitting here on my couch. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being You, and I've talked about it a little bit. I bought it because I thought, oh, that's a really cool title, and I thought that it was about something different than what it's actually about, but it is a cool book. It talks a lot about energy, and when I first started reading it, it was talking about like quantum mechanics, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what did I really get into reading? But it talks about energy and where your energy comes from, and then, you know, the bad energy that we get stuck in of like fear and negativity, and then higher energies of like happiness and love and all of those, the things that lift your energy up more. And I truly believe that's why Gabby Bernstein talks so much about releasing fear and choosing love instead, because it's a higher energy. And when you can lift up your energy, then everything around you looks better. You have a different perspective and you see things differently. I've been trying it a lot, especially in the car. I live in Boston, or close to Boston, and there's tons of traffic and there's tons of people everywhere, and people are so rude. They pull out in front of you and then they go slow. You know, they stop in the middle of the road for no reason. And I'm telling you all of this because it's so fresh in my mind, because I just came from Target. And it's like just a 15-minute drive is enough to like make me so angry, and just, I have that road rage of just, like screaming and yelling, and I'm like, why do I do this? I'm not normally this type of person, right? So I've been thinking about it a lot as I'm in the car. Like, obviously fear and anger and rage are some of the lower energies. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like woo-saw, like be super calm, try to choose love instead, try to think about this a different way. And it definitely takes a lot of practice. It does work, but it takes a lot of practice, especially when you're so ingrained in that habit of just being angry when you're in the car. I mean, for me, it was so ingrained in me that I get angry when I think about going somewhere. Like, before I get in the car, just the thought of getting in the car makes me angry and irritated because I know what it's going to be like. So it's definitely a learning process of choosing something different, right? Of lifting yourself up a different way. And when you're not used to it, it takes work. And I think a lot of times we get stuck on this idea of like everything should be easy. It should be simple. And once we have the thing that we want, like it should just stay there. But so many of those things aren't like that. It's not like Advil where you can just take a pill and your headache goes away. It's more like you have to go to the gym every day if you want to maintain the muscles that you have, or if you want more muscles, right? If you stop going to the gym, the muscles go away. That's just how it is. And I think that things like self-love and patience and choosing something different, all of that is the same way. It's a practice that you have to keep doing it. And it's kind of difficult to start the habit, but then once you start the habit, then it's so much easier to maintain it because you don't want to stop. It feels so good to be in that higher energy that you don't want to stop. I've started meditation recently too. I did Gabby Bernstein's 21-day meditation challenge, and it feels so much better to be in that kind of space. And I didn't think that 10 minutes a day could make such a huge difference, but it really does. It makes, it helps you to start your day in such a better way. I used to start my day by reading the news, like reading online news, and it just sets you up for such a negative day that I was like, I can't do that anymore. My emotions can't handle it. My brain can't handle all the negativity. I can't handle seeing all the terrible things that are happening in the world. I just can't. It's too much. It's like, being an empath, you soak up all of the emotions of everybody else. And it takes a lot of work to not do that. And sometimes you do it and you don't realize what you're doing. And then you don't understand why at the end of the day, you just feel drained and horrible and terrible. And you don't feel like doing anything. And so when you start to recognize like, hey, this is what's doing it. Let me not read the news today and see how I feel. I feel a little bit better. Let me not do it again tomorrow and see how that feels. And it feels a lot better. And then it's like, okay, I've broken that habit. Now let me build something like a better habit. And I've heard so many people talking about meditation. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's see how this works. I was kind of scared because I didn't really know what it was. But I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. Let's see. What is this? Let's see how it works. And it's awesome. I mean, it's just basically like focusing on one thing. And when you have guided meditations, it's so much better because you can just listen to the meditation and focus on whatever the meditation is about. And it can be something as simple as gratitude or morning mantras, which are like positive affirmations for the day. And I found myself using those things in that time, those times when I'm stressed out, you know, like when I'm in the car. It's like, okay, let me think about something positive. Like, what's even a little thing that I could be grateful for in this situation? I could be grateful that I have a decent car that I like. I could be grateful that there's air conditioning when it's 80 degrees outside. You know, all these little things that it's like you start grasping for little things. But I noticed that in the past I wouldn't have done that. My mind wouldn't have went there. It wouldn't have went to something positive in a situation that was making me irritated and angry. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see, you know, after a month, I've had that much of an improvement. So what's it going to be like after 2 months or 3 months or 6 months? I mean, I'm really excited that it's going to be something really, really good. So I've had all of these big wins, and I really want to help you have some big wins in your life too. I want to help you build your confidence and help you build more self-love as well. I want to be there to support you and to help you through this process. I want to see you be really, really confident and be really happy in your life. I want to see you go after the things that you really want and to have the courage and the confidence to say, hey, this is what I want and I'm not going to accept anything else. That's why I'm here. That's why I do the work that I do, because I love helping people. And so I have another invitation for you. I created this 21-day Come Home to Yourself challenge because I want to help you build confidence and grow your self-love and really step into who you are rather than who the world has told you to be. It's 21 days of really short lessons, something that you can do in the morning that will set you up for some positivity throughout the day, that will help you tap into the confidence that you need and give you something in those moments where you feel, you know, anger and irritation creeping in. You can come back to this work and say, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to choose something better instead. And it'll help you lift your energy so that you're focused on more positive energy rather than anger and irritation and doubt. You'll be focused on things like confidence and love and happiness. So this is definitely for you if you need more courage in your life, if you need more self-love, if you need more confidence. It's going to help you elevate all of those things, to release all of the fear that you have and all of the self-judgment, and to give you something better, something where you can really step into your own. And I really hope that you'll join me. You can find all the information on my website, which is infjwoman.com. It's right there at the top. And then there's a special website for this that's infjwoman.com/comehome. So it's a 21-day challenge, which is perfect to get you started in this kind of practice. And it'll help you so much. I guarantee you it's going to be a total transformation for you. And I really hope to see you there. It'll be fun to hang out and to connect with other INFJs because there's a Facebook group that goes along with it. And just having the support and accountability from other people who are like you, who understand you, is such a huge thing. I have this idea that I've been playing with for so long. I really want to build a community where we can all, as INFJs, connect and get to know each other and make friends and support each other. So many people come to me and they say, you know, I don't really have a lot of friends. I don't know where to make friends. And I really want to be that place that people can come to connect with other INFJs so that you can make friends, and people who are really supportive, people who are on this journey of self-development and self-growth, who are looking for something better in their lives. April, you can join if you go to infjwoman.com /come home. You can see all the information there and everything that comes with it. I only told you about a small piece of it. There's really so much information that I would be here for like an hour telling you all the great things about it. So yeah, make sure that you go over there and check it out. I would love to see you join. We're gonna start next Sunday, and it's a 21-day program. So yeah, it'll be fun. I really hope that every single one of you can join. It'll be a great time. So anyway, I just wanted to drop in and say hi. Tell you that if you were looking for a sign that you needed to do something different with your life, this is your sign. Stop waiting. You're never gonna get there if you just keep waiting. There's nothing to be waiting for. It's time to go. It's time to start moving. Yeah, that's it. All right, I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you again soon. So you just watched that video, and I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you want some more amazing information about INFJs, check out these videos right now. I'll see you there.